When the sun goes down in Florida, the suburbs turn into a hunting ground. Apex predators are slipping out of the swamps and prowling the very neighborhoods where you sleep. And locals warn that stepping outside after dark is a massive mistake. Here are the 11 most dangerous. Number 11. Raccoons. They look harmless in daylight, rummaging through flower beds like overgrown house cats. But once the sun sets, raccoons turn into bold, aggressive scavengers with claws built for tearing and jaws strong enough to crack bone. Florida's suburban raccoon population thrives on trash cans, pet food left on porches, and open attic vents. They are smart enough to open latched bins and unscrew loose fixtures, and they remember exactly which houses are easy targets, returning to the same yard night after night. Raccoons also carry rabies at a higher rate than almost any other mammal in the state, and an infected animal loses its normal fear of humans entirely, sometimes wandering into open garages in broad daylight. A cornered raccoon will lunge at pets and even people without hesitation, using both claws and teeth in the same motion, and a single bite can mean a painful series of rabies shots. Locals warn, if you hear scratching outside after midnight, do not go check it alone, and never corner one near a doorway or crawl space. Pest control companies across the state say raccoon removal calls spike every single summer as families discover entire litters nesting above bedroom ceilings. Feeding them, even by accident through an unsecured bin, is exactly how a shy visitor turns into a nightly regular on the back porch. Number 10. Gray foxes silent, fast, and almost invisible in the dark. Gray foxes slip through Florida backyards, while entire families sleep just feet away. Unlike most canines, they can climb trees using hooked, semi-retractable claws, which means fences and walls will not stop them from reaching small pets, birdhouses, or backyard chicken coops. They hunt rabbits, rodents, birds, and unattended cats, moving without a sound until the exact moment they strike, then vanishing back into the tree line. Because they are naturally shy around humans, most residents never even realize a fox has been in their yard until they check a trail camera the next morning and see glowing eyes staring back from the dark. Residents in wooded subdivisions report foxes circling patios around 2 in the morning, pausing near sliding glass doors, then gone before a phone camera can even focus. Wildlife officers say the real danger isn't the fox itself, but rabies transmission if one is ever cornered, fed, or handled by hand. Once a fox learns a yard means an easy meal, it will return on a near-nightly schedule until every food source is gone. Their sharp, high-pitched bark in the dead of night is often mistaken for a person screaming, sending more than one nervous homeowner outside with a flashlight. Number 9. Coyotes. Coyotes were not always part of Florida's landscape, but today they are established in nearly every single county, including the most densely packed suburban developments. They travel in small family packs, mark territory close to homes, and actively target unleashed pets left in backyards overnight, sometimes working together to lure a dog toward a fence line. Attacks on small dogs and cats are reported every year across Florida neighborhoods, often happening in seconds, with the coyote gone before anyone even reaches the yard to check. Wildlife officials say coyotes have grown increasingly comfortable around humans, losing the natural fear that once kept them at a safe distance from porches and driveways. They are also known to test perimeter fences over several nights, probing for gaps or weak spots before finally making a move. Locals now avoid walking pets alone after dark in known coyote zones and keep small animals indoors the moment the streetlights come on. Some homeowner associations have even started posting coyote sighting alerts in neighborhood group chats to warn nearby streets in real time. A coyote's chorus of yips and howls after midnight can sound like an entire pack surrounding a house, even when only 2 or 3 animals are actually calling. Number 8. Great horned owls. Above the rooftops, a predator hunts in near total silence. Great horned owls have specially shaped wing feathers built to eliminate almost all sound in flight, letting them strike before prey ever senses danger overhead. In Florida suburbs, they have been documented snatching small cats and toy breed dogs straight off porches, patios, and even fenced-in yards without warning. Their talons can crush bone instantly, generating far more gripping force pound for pound than a human hand could ever produce. Because they attack from directly above and behind, most pet owners never see it coming until the animal is simply, silently gone, with only a few feathers left behind as evidence. Locals in areas near wooded lots, retention ponds, or golf courses are warned to keep small pets indoors or closely supervised after dusk, since an owl can strike and disappear into the tree line within 2 or 3 seconds. Their deep hooting calls at dusk are often the only warning a homeowner ever gets that one has claimed the block as its territory. Great horned owls are also aggressively territorial around nesting season, and there are documented cases of them diving at people who wander too close to a nest tree after dark. Number 7. Cottonmouths. Also called water moccasins, cottonmouths thrive in the canals, retention ponds, and drainage ditches built into nearly every single Florida housing development. Unlike many snakes that flee at the first sign of a human, cottonmouths are known to stand their ground, opening their mouths wide to flash the white interior as a final warning before striking. Their venom is hemotoxic, meaning it actively destroys tissue at the bite site and can cause permanent muscle and nerve damage if treatment is delayed even a few hours. They are powerful swimmers and are frequently seen gliding across the surface of neighborhood ponds at night, especially on warm evenings when they hunt for frogs, fish, and small mammals near the shoreline. Locals say never assume a neighborhood pond is snake-free, especially after dark, when cottonmouths move silently along the water's edge and blend almost perfectly into shadow and grass. Dogs off-leash near retention ponds account for a large share of reported bites every summer, often before the owner even spots the snake. Unlike most water snakes, a cottonmouth swims with its head and body riding high on the surface, which locals use as a quick way to tell it apart from harmless species at a glance. Number 6. Eastern diamondback rattlesnakes. The largest venomous snake in North America lives right in Florida's own backyards, not some remote wilderness far away. Eastern diamondbacks can grow past 6 feet long and weigh more than 10 pounds, with venom potent enough to require aggressive hospital treatment and, in serious cases, dozens of vials of antivenom. They are drawn to overgrown yards, woodpiles, storage sheds, and anywhere rodents gather to feed on spilled birdseed or pet food. At night, their diamond-patterned camouflage makes them almost impossible to see against mulch or dead leaves, and they strike fast and hard if surprised or accidentally step near. Unlike some snakes that slip away quietly, diamondbacks often stand their ground and give only a brief rattle as a warning before defending themselves. Homeowners near wooded lots are strongly urged to check dark corners of the yard with a flashlight before letting pets or children outside after sunset. Even a juvenile diamondback can deliver a full dose of venom, so locals are told size is never a reason to relax. Their signature rattle doesn't always sound before a strike, especially when the snake feels it has no room left to retreat. Number 5. Coral snakes. Small, brightly banded, and easy to mistake for a completely harmless species, coral snakes carry one of the most potent neurotoxic venoms of any snake found in the country. Unlike pit vipers such as rattlesnakes, their venom attacks the nervous system directly, and symptoms can stay hidden for hours before suddenly turning severe, which is exactly what makes their bites so dangerous. They are secretive by nature, spending most of their time hidden under leaf piles, mulch beds, and landscaping timbers common in almost every Florida yard, only surfacing to hunt at dusk or after dark. Because their bite is small, brief, and often nearly painless at first, victims sometimes do not realize how serious the situation actually is until it has already become a medical emergency. Locals repeat the old warning rhyme about color patterns for a reason, because one wrong assumption in the dark can end up being fatal. Anti-venom for coral snake bites is far less common in hospital stock than for other native species, making a fast, correct identification critical. They rarely bite unless directly handled or stepped on, but Florida's mild winters mean they stay active in yards almost year-round. Number 4. Bobcats. Bobcats are far more common in Florida neighborhoods than most residents ever realize, often living completely undetected in greenbelts, canal banks, and small wooded lots squeezed between houses. They are expert climbers and nearly silent hunters, capable of clearing a 6-foot privacy fence in a single motion without making a sound loud enough to wake anyone inside. Trail cameras across suburban Florida regularly capture bobcats stalking through backyards well after midnight, targeting outdoor cats, backyard chickens, and small unattended dogs left out overnight. While attacks on humans are genuinely rare, wildlife officials warn that a cornered, sick, or rabid bobcat can inflict serious wounds with its claws and teeth in only a matter of seconds. They are most active at dawn and dusk, but fully nocturnal hunting increases sharply during the hottest summer months, when daytime heat becomes unbearable. A bobcat crossing a driveway in broad daylight is unusual enough that locals treat it as a sign one may be denning nearby with kittens. Their tracks, wider than a house cat's and lacking claw marks, are often the only evidence homeowners ever find of a nightly visitor. Number 3. Black Bears. Florida is home to thousands of black bears, and their range keeps expanding steadily into suburban territory as new development pushes further into their natural habitat. Drawn by the smell of garbage, bird feeders, and grills left outside overnight, bears now regularly wander through driveways, garages, and patios after dark, sometimes just yards from an open bedroom window. They are capable of tearing through flimsy car doors and unlock garage entrances to reach food they can smell from a remarkable distance away. Most encounters end without incident, as long as the bear is given plenty of space and a clear path to retreat back into the woods. But wildlife agencies have documented bears turning aggressive when startled at close range, cornered inside a garage, or when a person unknowingly steps between a mother and her cubs at night. Trash pickup mornings are one of the most common times for bear sightings, as the scent of a full week's garbage draws them straight to the curb. A bear that successfully raids the same street twice tends to keep coming back on a predictable schedule, which is exactly why wildlife officers push bear-proof cans in high-traffic areas. Number 2. Burmese pythons. Originally an invasive species released into the Everglades decades ago, Burmese pythons have been steadily expanding their range northward into residential South Florida communities. These massive constrictors can grow beyond 15 feet long, strong enough to overpower and kill prey far larger than any typical house pet in only a few minutes. They move primarily at night, often near canals, wooded lots, and drainage areas bordering suburban neighborhoods, using near-perfect camouflage to stay completely hidden until the moment they strike. Because they have essentially no natural predators anywhere in Florida, their population has grown largely unchecked for years, despite ongoing removal efforts. Wildlife trappers say sightings near homes increase every single year, and officials now urge residents to report any unusually large snake near a property immediately rather than attempt to approach it themselves. Small pets left outside overnight in canal-adjacent neighborhoods are considered especially at risk, since a python can swallow prey whole without warning. Their patterned scales blend seamlessly into mulch and shadow, so even trained trappers say most pythons are heard rustling before they're ever actually seen. Number 1. American alligators. More than 1 million alligators live in Florida, and they are absolutely not confined to remote swamps or rural rivers anymore. Retention ponds, golf course lakes, drainage canals, and even backyard pools have all had alligators appear seemingly overnight, especially during and immediately after heavy rain. They can move surprisingly quickly on land over short bursts and are most active at dusk and after dark, when they hunt in shallow water along the shoreline, where pets and children often play during the day. Every single year, Florida logs new reports of alligators found in garages, driveways, swimming pools, and even inside homes through doors left open overnight. Their bite force is among the strongest of any animal on the entire planet, and once they lock on, escape without outside help is nearly impossible. Locals living near any body of water are told the exact same thing year after year. After sunset, assume the water's edge belongs to something else. State wildlife agencies remove thousands of nuisance alligators from residential areas annually. And that number climbs every rainy season as flooding pushes them straight into subdivisions. Locals learn quickly that a floating log in a retention pond deserves a second look, especially once the streetlights come on. 11 predators, all hiding in plain sight across Florida's own neighborhoods, closer than most residents ever want to admit. The rule locals live by never changes. Once the sun goes down, the backyard isn't fully yours anymore.